as the master. Or one sees oneself as the servant of the master. Here the word self refers to the super self. So basically one has a complete realization that I am servant. The Supreme Lord is the master.
So any word indicates to myself.
Not necessary. The word Atma can have all meanings. The word Atma can refer to this a soul, the word Atma can refer to the super soul, it can refer to the body, it can refer to the mind. The word Atma has only meanings. So therefore the meaning of the word Atma has to be seen in relation to the context. So just like uh, if you see the 12th verse, if you see the 12th verse, Tachadhana Muniyo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam. The word Atma is coming twice. What is the meaning? You see the meaning?
Atmani
See the word to word meaning?
Atmani within himself. Atmanam Paramatma.
Yes. You see. So one Atma refers to the self, the other Atma refers to the super self. In the same verse. So the word Atma can have different. I think so. Nimalita Prabhu was listening.
When you were mentioning these simple activities and giving example of Narada boy.
Mm.
So I remember once talking to one devotee and he was telling, see, we have such a big temple, so many heavy services, management, fund collection. So if you speak like this to people, doing this simple sadhana and this simple the temple will run like this, then I could not answer properly.
So who has told not to do the big things? Who is telling not to do the big things? We're not saying don't do the big things. But what we're saying is don't neglect the small things. See, as we have been discussing, the ultimate goal is to please. To please the Vaishnavas, to please the Acharyas. That is the ultimate goal. So then whatever it takes to please, that is what we're supposed to do. So we are not saying that don't do the big things. Yeah, you can do the big things. If you're asked to do the big things, you do the big things. If you're asked to do small things, you do the small things. That's the point. But when we're talking about the small things, we're referring to the essential practices that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do every day. So those cannot be compromised for the big things. Or one cannot do the big things at the cost of the apparent small things. That is the point. Because if the apparent small things are compromised, then the big things won't last too long. The history of the movement has sufficient evidence for this. There's no lack of evidence. There's sufficient evidence for this. So there's no problem with doing the big things. If one is asked to do the big things, Prabhupada did so many big things. That's why we told that pastime, if you remember. Giriraj Maharaj's pastime. You remember? They were staying in that apartment.
Materialistic way, happy life.
Yes. Hostel mess. So Prabhupada didn't say don't do the big things, but he said you can't forget the small things.
Then what happens? That when person gets into doing substantial big things, then somewhere down the line, within few months or 1-2 years, I just lose that focus on these essential things. Either the quality or even the presence gets compromised. And at the same time, if I don't do these things, I cannot engage my mind. I need something like that.
Yes, so that's what we are not saying don't engage. Then all the other engagements are essential, need to be done, all that is fine. But in order to do all those things, where is the spiritual strength going to come from? If there is no spiritual strength, then where one will get the strength to do the big things? That's why Prabhupada was so insistent on these things. And so therefore, one cannot say that, oh, I have so many other big things, so the small things don't matter. No, one can't say. We also give the example of the foundation of the building. So can one say foundation is not visible? Nobody glorifies the foundation. So I keep a weak foundation and build the building. I think in India people do like that, correct? Because at least nobody is there to see the foundation. And then we know what happens. Then we see buildings break, bridges break, so many things break. Why? This is the reason. Nobody is there to see the foundation. So chalta hai. And the same principle applies in spiritual life also. So then it's up to us what we want to focus on. But we are running a big risk. We are experimenting with the words of the Acharya. Dangerous zone. So, mind will give so many excuses. Mind will say, oh, you're busy, you're senior, you're this, you're that, you have so many other things to do. What, you're sitting here and chanting? Do something substantial for the moment. So many things the mind will say. But without the foundation, where everything else will stand, it's just a matter of time, it will all collapse. And again, fact is facts. Whatever the reason, but fact is fact. Then it just doesn't matter who one is, how much ever big in the eyes of the society. GVC, sannyasi, temple president, this, that, done so many things, just doesn't matter. And that's what we were saying yesterday. That's what Prabhupada writes. How long the water is required? No water? Science. That is science. See?
We can see those type of devotees.
Oh, we had the whole discussion. Yesterday, big debate we had both types of devotees. That's why we had the big debate for both types of devotees.
Somebody will be there for like decades and he will not be very pakka in his essential one important things. So then I feel that okay, I can also little bit adjust. And that will be clear also somewhere.
It could happen with anyone.
Then we feel that okay, continuing is important. I'll continue, see, others are also there. Who are continuing for long run, but they are not very strict in time.
Why not take a chance? Why not take a chance of building a weak foundation? After all, so many other buildings are standing. So maybe this also will stand. And one point we have to note. There is definitely a difference in the life of a grihastha and the life of a renunciant. And the Shastras very clearly make a difference between the two. And therefore, you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to Raghunath Das Goswami. Where is the focus? You see that? Because a renunciant is actually walking on razor's edge. Maya is working overtime. Because this is expressway. So, on the expressway, very nice, smooth ride is there, expressway. But what happens? What is the risk?
Little intention.
Yes, little inattention and there is bloodshed. So therefore, if especially one wants to continue in the renounced order, then one has to be extra careful. So if one is comparing oneself with some grihasthas who may still continue without a very strong sadhana, because for a householder, there's not much deviation that can take place. It's already a sort of compromised life. Of course, it depends on the grihastha. If he wants to be very strict, that's fine. But then what I mean to say is, it doesn't become so evident. It doesn't become so evident. If one's spiritual consciousness goes down a little bit, then it may not become so evident in a householder's life. But for a renunciant, then it immediately affects the consciousness. And so therefore, especially if one wants to continue on the renounced order, then the spiritual potency, spiritual strength has to be very strong, because it has to be very firm, because a vigorous battle with Maya, then a lot of spiritual strength is required. Of course, whichever ashram, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, for spiritual progress, everyone has to be strong in these basic things, because this is what is going to give the spiritual potency. And even the householder, if he doesn't have spiritual potency, then he cannot make much spiritual progress. Apparently, he may be able to do some work, engaging his propensities in Krishna's service. Work may go on, but spiritual progress may not take place. But still, for the householder, the deviation may not become so evident. But then in the life of renunciant, then when there's no spiritual potency, then the very continuation of renunciation is at risk.
Maybe regarding this Shuddha Sattva, I remember I heard some lectures that it is in this life we are able to come to the stage of Sattva stage only, and Vishuddha Sattva is, it generally does not happen. So in that case, in Bhava and Prema stages, is it possible that I can achieve to that stage?
So if one cannot achieve, then why talk about it?
No. That lecturer is saying that
It's rare, no doubt it's rare. It's rare. As long as one has a material body, then to come to the Shuddha Sattva platform is definitely very rare. That is true. But It is possible. It is possible, but it's rare. That is why in the 6 characteristics of devotional service, what are the characteristics of Bhava Bhakti? In the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, Sudurlabha. Very rare. That is the stage of Bhava. Everyone remembers, no? 6 characteristics. What are they? Kleshagni Shubhadam. They are at the stage of sadhana. Then Bhava, Moksha Lagutaprit, Sudurlabha. And Prema, Sangran Visheshatna and Shri Krishna. So Bhava, the characteristic is Sudurlabha. Extremely rare. And Sri Prabhupada writes there, and why it is extremely rare? Krishna agrees to become the servant of such a devotee. And Krishna doesn't give that so cheap. So definitely very rare.
So we should try to come to that class.
Yes, that is our goal. That is our goal. Now whether, see, sadhana is our efforts. Bhava and prema are awarded. Shuddha Sattva is Krishna's internal potency, Chit Shakti. So that internal potency has to descend. It descends. That is by grace. It descends. It's not by my efforts. My effort is only sadhana. But as we have been making this point several times, that sadhana should attract grace. The sadhana bhakti should attract grace. Then by grace, the Vishuddha Sattva will descend.
Two more questions. One question. Another question is regarding the sandwich model Prabhupada always gave in the morning program and evening program. I heard some devotees prescribe this sandwich model is there. So rest day is for service. So in this hours, there's no need to read or hear. Then in this sandwich model where we can't read Bhagavatam, because there's no space for this reading or hearing. Hearing aspect, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita class. But it does not fit into this. But like it's yesterday's debate only, which is with sadhana seva. But many times this sandwich model was being proposed, Srila Prabhupada gave this, but we can't complete these many books Srila Prabhupada had written and conversations, letters, go on. So how to see or understand
Okay,
this?
okay, good. So sandwich model, you're talking about the sandwich model. How many of you here attend Bhagavad Gita class in the evening? Please raise hands.
Every day.
Huh? He has to, why?
New Bhaktas.
So it's only for new bhaktas. What about the others?
When they get chance to speak.
When they get on a regular basis every day, how many are attending Bhagavad Gita class in the evening? You see? Yeah, fine. So now that 1 hour of Bhagavad Gita class, where it is? Are we followed? Then at least that minimum quota of hearing that Srila Prabhupada recommended, is that happening? So if we are having some additional classes, we are compensating for that. Now, ideally per month, if you take 30 days, 30 hours of Bhagavad Gita class, how many hours of Bhakti Vaibhav classes we are having? 20 hours. 20 hours of Bhagavad Gita class. I mean Bhagavatam class in place of the Bhagavad Gita class. And okay, we can still say that 10 hours for self-study. So now because Bhakti Vaibhav classes are taking place, we are compensating for those 30 hours. Otherwise, are we following Srila Prabhupada's basic instruction? This is basic. And there are many quotes where Srila Prabhupada has also said one must read 1 to 2 hours additionally. There are enough quotes for that also. But even if you want to follow Prabhupada's basic program, this is basic program, basic minimum. Are we following Prabhupada's basic minimum? This is my question. Then why talk? Very easy to find excuses and justify what on this sandwich program. Who's following the sandwich? Maybe many eating the sandwich. Basic minimum.
And third question. Pretty regarding just we were discussing about this thing. So that Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So pretty use that examples of Janivasprava and many such kind of examples we have in the moment. But pretty then it's not any criticism or just to make myself thorough understanding. Sometimes we Temple Hall Bhagavatam class is going on, but we go to some other place or we have some other sessions or time. So how to understand?
Okay, there is some genuine service, that's understandable.
No, it's not genuine service, but we have some other classes.
No, so some other class means it's a service, no? So if it's service, that's fine. Or you choose to have.
So,
That service is imperative or you choose to have it.
service attacks.
Okay, fine. So if it's an imperative service that you have to do during that time, that means a parallel class. If it is sanctioned by the temple authorities and if it's fine, then that's fine. But if it is not in accordance to the temple authorities, then that's another question. But if it's something bona fide, then it's fine. But again, that should not happen every day. If it's happening every day, that's a problem. Then that means we have voluntarily agreed to do it. Once in a while, it's okay. Otherwise, ideally, there should be nothing parallelly happening during the Bhagavatam class. This Vaishnav Prabhu was once telling in a class that how once he was maybe during marathon or I don't remember exactly when, but he was some management meeting, it was urgent, he wanted to organize it, and His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj was required for the meeting, and so the meeting was exactly clashing with the Bhagavatam class time. Maharaj said, "Is there no other time?" It's totally against it. That's the standard. Vishnu Prabhupada said.
In this Anartha cloud, this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that mentions there is Anartha which is coming from Namaprata.
Mm.
And in Namaprata also there is a Vaishnava Aparad.
Mm.
And he gave them separate Vaishnava.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yes, because Namaprads, there are all the 10 Namaprads, but the Vaishnava Prad is especially sort of emphasized because, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that is like the mad elephant offense. So because that has a special place and a special effect, so therefore that's sort of segregated from the list of nine.
In Tarangani stage, you were mentioning that when we do continuous bhajan kriya, then the gradually disturbances will be reduced. So this reduction of disturbances, that means sadhaka is coming to platform of Brahman, his duality, he is unaffected of duality.
See, basically, as we are reading here, so as one progresses, and okay, just to that reminded me of one point. So here you see, in the Anishtita Bhajan Kriya, we discussed those 6 stages of Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. And yesterday somebody was asking that we didn't discuss the solutions to those. But essentially, the solution to those, or not exactly a solution, you can say, okay, a solution to those challenges, or the way to progress is, as is indicated in the 18th verse. The 17th verse is talking about Bhajan Kriya, and that's Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. The 18th verse is talking about Nishtha, that is Nishtita Bhajan Kriya. And what is the process? Nityam Bhagavata Seva. That is the solution. The solution to make progress through all those stages of Anishtita Bhajan Kriya, the solution to overcome those challenges is Bhagavad Seva, the association of devotees. That is the solution. Like you take any of those stages, like what was the first one? Utsamai, sporadic enthusiasm. So one is very enthusiastic, but at the same time becomes proud. So then, if one is in the association of devotees, when we talk of association, then it's not just being with devotees. When we talk of association, it means taking guidance of the devotees. Okay. So you take guidance from devotees, then devotees will tell, okay, this is only the beginning. Don't think you'll become pure devotee so fast. So then they bring you to the grounds, even though one may be floating in the clouds. So then they will say, okay, go slow and steady. So then the association of devotees keeps us or helps us make steady progress. Then we talked about Ganataral. So Ganataral means one day 32 rounds, next day 2 rounds. That is Ganataral. So then if we are under guidance, then Vaishnavas tell, okay, don't do this up and down. Do something steady. At least do 4 rounds steadily. So, and then Vyuda Vikalpa, so many doubts, indecision. So then again, we need to take the guidance of devotees for that. Then again, Vishaya Sangara, struggle with the senses, sense gratification. There's a beautiful verse in Raghunath Goswami's Manashiksha, which talks about, I think there's a fifth verse of Manashiksha, which talks about how when these highway robbers, he compares Kama, Lobha and all these anarthas to highway robbers. So when these highway robbers attack and try to loot the sadhaka who's going on this path of bhakti, this is highway. Where the highway is going? Yes, it's going to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead. But every highway has problems, challenges. And so this highway also there are challenges. And there can be robbers to rob the travelers on this highway. And who are those robbers? Kam, Krodh, Lobh. So he says, when they attack to rob the traveler, rob the devotee of what? Bhakti. What is the treasure the devotee is carrying? Bhakti. So these robbers come to rob the treasure of bhakti. So then he says, the only solution, just like when the robbers attack, what one has to do? Call whom?
Police.
Yes, call out to the police. So there are police who are guarding this highway to the spiritual world. Who are they? The Vaishnavas. They are like the police, the Acharyas. So therefore we have to call out to them for help, and not try to protect oneself. One miserably fail if one tries to do that. So at that time one needs to call out to the Vaishnavas for help. So that's how one is saved. Yesterday we were talking about that. Prabhupada, he wrote, kick Mr. Lust on his face with my boots. Yes. So yes, so we have to take help of the Acharyas, take help of the Vaishnavas. That's the solution. So similarly, Tarangarangini also. So one is being allured by all these material benefits, becoming proud. Then if we are in the association of senior devotees, then they will give us warnings, be careful. Don't get too much allured by these things. So ultimately, in all these stages, it's the association of devotees that helps. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. That's the solution. By doing that, one overcomes these challenges, then one comes to the platform of Nishtha. What was the question we were asking? Some question I guess.
Question I was asking that gradually this Tarangarangani stage will cross. Is that the stage where impersonal means where Brahman realized
Where Brahman realizes? We're talking about devotees. Where Brahman realizes?
means equality.
No, so basically, yes, the Brahmabhuta stage. The Brahmabhuta stage is the liberated stage. The liberated stage is the Bhava stage on the platform of Bhakti. So, as one continues in the practice of devotional service, gradually, yes, one will come to the liberated platform. That is the Bhava platform.
Is this six stages are progressing only or simultaneously can also happen?
Which 6 stages?
This
Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. So, it is progressive, but there can be all sorts of shades and overlaps and everything can be there. All types of permutations, combinations. But there is a gradual progression also. But again, how much time each stage will last, whether one will progress, regress, or all sorts of mixtures and all that, everything can happen. But then, if one is in good association and takes guidance, then there will be a good progress. But otherwise, all that can be there.
So you were mentioning about the point that a devotee should not be judged on the basis of external behavior. So that will be due to past karma, more of goodness basically. So of course, Krishna Liyasagrita, Manasagrita, we respect every devotee. But then, so we don't judge, but we have to discriminate as we are talking about when we take association of devotees. So it's not just based on external behavior. But you also understand that if we behave nicely, then that will render a good service, good preaching to others. And in that way, that we will receive mercy of spiritual master Krishna will be pleased that somehow he is engaging his, in this.
Yes, a good point. So see, this verse, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhavata Kinchana Sarvair Gunai Samasate Sura, it needs to be properly understood, otherwise it could be misused. Because somebody may say, what is the verse saying? If one simply practices devotional service, all the qualities of the devatas will come automatically. So somebody may say, okay, I will just practice my bhakti, and if I have some bad qualities, don't blame me. Prabhu, I am practicing bhakti, be patient. So, if somebody thinks, well, it's all right, I can behave anywhere I like, there's no need to be humble, tolerant, there's no need because I'm practicing my devotional service, I'm not yet developed them, but eventually I will develop them. So if you are having a problem with me, you need to be patient. It's good justification, no? What do you say? Huh?
Practicing humility rather Sunicina is also part of it.
Why?
This is the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Why all orders have to be obeyed? He never gave order. He said, you want to chant continuously, you follow. That's what he said. He never gave order. Your point is correct. I'm just trying to explore a little more. Huh?
We apply this verse for others. When we deal with others, that time we should see them that they are progressing. Slowly they are backwards.
Okay. Your point is correct. Yes. What about ourselves?
With practicing of our devotional service, we should seek guidance or observe our traits, our nature. Not nature means wrong natures. Srimad Thakur is not supposed to be not to be there. That and then work on it. Take some measures to work on it, change. Because if we don't endeavor, like we are not feeling hunger, not like humility.
Why should I take so much trouble?
Because if desire is not there, that eagerness is not there, then automatically it will not happen.
No, the verse is saying automatically happen. That's what the verse is saying, no? The verse is saying one practices devotional service, all the good qualities of demigods will automatically manifest.
If the, somebody is ignorant about himself and just continuing, then what will happen? He may commit offenses to the Vaishnavas and then he will not able to practice devotional service.
Good, that's the point. So, if one does not behave properly with other devotees, if one does not make an attempt to behave properly, even though it is not natural, the result will be offenses. And offenses will be, as we've been discussing,
No excuse.
light of the holy name. What is preventing us from access?
Mist and clouds.
Yeah, so one of them is aparadhas, offenses. So if we think, okay, humility, tolerance, good qualities have not yet manifested, so I can behave with everyone any way I like, it is not my problem, it is your problem. You be patient for the good qualities to develop. If I say that, and I behave in whatever nasty way I like and feel based upon my conditionings and my anarthas and my influence of modes, and then the result will be all offenses. Then where is the question of progress? And if I don't progress, then where is the question of good qualities manifesting anyways? Therefore, even though the good qualities may not be naturally present now, I need to make an attempt to practice them in order to please the Vaishnavas, in order to please the Guru, and ultimately to please the Supreme Lord as an austerity. Do we have a Shastric quote for that? Yes, 3 types of austerity. What are they?
Body, mind.
Yes, austerity, the body, mind, words. Krishna is saying that in the Gita, 17th chapter. 14th, 15th and 16th verses, I think, right? 17th chapter. Krishna is saying, this is an austerity. As an austerity one needs to practice. Even, austerity means what? It's not natural. Therefore I need to practice it as an austerity. So then I save myself from offenses, then I can make progress. Then when I make progress, then the qualities of the soul, which are innately present, will actually manifest. Then those are stable qualities. Is it clear? Yes, Abhay.
We were previously discussing about one who is very staunch with his belief, he is strong with his belief, and he is fixed in his sadhana. So can that be really since now you are saying that good qualities will manifest, they will stay fixed in our sadhana. So how about that? The one who is glued in his belief,
Hmm.
How to understand how?
Yes, so if even though now there, of course, we were trying to understand the relative importance, of core devotional practices with the manifestation of good qualities. We were seeing the relative importance. So why? Because somebody may have good qualities from previous sattvic sanskaras, but if his practice of devotional service is not strong, then those sattvic qualities will not remain, because then the rajas and tamas will take over. Correct? But at the same time, if a devotee has good devotional practices and may not have very good behavior now, but if he continues on with his devotional service, now his continuing on with his devotional service, of course, also means that he will attempt to behave properly. But even though we all have experience, correct? Even though I know I should behave in this way, but sometimes what happens? The modes push us. The modes push us. So if we are observing another devotee, now we are talking about another devotee. If we are observing another devotee who has good devotional practices, but sometimes his behavior is not good, we are observing such a devotee, we should not take that too seriously. That's the point. Because his devotional practices are good, he's also trying to act in a good way, but sometimes the modes just push a person too strong. And then he may act in a wrong way sometimes. That time, we have to apply which verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Yes. Apiche suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasito. That time you have to apply that verse there.
So that may compel him to commit some offenses also.
Correct? That's true. That's true. So therefore, the offensive stage of chanting is but natural in the initial stages. Is it possible for one to, unless one has descended from the spiritual world, is it possible that one can not commit any offenses at all? Is that possible? No, there is a possibility. But how fast we go through that stage, that depends on us. That stage will be there for everyone, almost. But then how fast we go through that stage, that depends on us. But then the possibility of committing some offenses is always there. But again, at the same time, if the offenses have been inadvertently committed, not not purposefully, envy, then they won't be taken too seriously. But possibility is there. As long as one is influenced by the modes, then some possibility is there. But because the devotee's devotional practices are strong, then he will sincerely try to overcome them, and by the force of his devotional practices, he will eventually overcome them. Is it? Yes, sir.
Thank you for nicely describing this question. Another question I have is, when we were discussing human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee. So this Narad Muni's constraint has been mentioned. So is it not like this Narad Muni what he got as trying to assist the Bhaktivedanta, and so can be considered as an honorary PhD sort of? Why? Because in general, like we don't recommend any newcomer to just simply do that service or whatever thing is. We generally tell them that you practice Shravanam, Kirtanam, like everything should be there.
So he also did everything.
In the sense like what actually Narad Muni got is just by sincere service, like he is the Bhaktivedanta. But then is that not like kind of an honorary PhD?
Yes. I think in the Nectar of Devotion, the example of Narad Muni comes in both the cases. So Narad Muni's example is given as an example of sadhana siddha as well as kripa siddha. his example comes in both. So yes, both are there. So there was some practice of sadhana also, but then he got that causeless mercy also. So both are there.
So then in that case, then this particular thing, the human reason fails to understand. So then how will we understand this statement?
No, you can't understand.
Face.
So now if you ask a question, why Narad God? What is the answer?
By the mercy of the Bhaktivedanta
Oh, why they gave?
and the sincere service.
That's all. But then you may say that okay, somebody else also is rendering sincere service. He didn't get so much kripa.
That you are discussing the limitation of the devotee.
All that is there, but ultimately human reason fails to understand. You can't understand everything logically. You know why he only got, why he did not get. There's no answer there. So therefore, all what we can do is what is within our hands. That is all what we can do. Kripa means what? What is the actual meaning of kripa? It's awarded. Kripa means it's awarded. No, it's just like there's a millionaire here in Mumbai. There are many millionaires over here. So one day one millionaire decides to stand on the balcony of his house and throw some 100 rupee notes on the road. So then can you question another millionaire, hey, he's throwing, why you are not throwing? Can you question? It's like that. That is kripa. Just like, okay, I'll tell you one pastor. This I heard from Atmatattva Prabhu. So, Srila Prabhupada was in Delhi, and Atmatattva Prabhu, he was trying to preach to an elderly gentleman, and so he was showing some little interest. So then one day, Atmatattva Prabhu thought of arranging a meeting between him and Srila Prabhupada. So okay, Srila Prabhupada agreed. So this man came in, Srila Prabhupada was talking with him. And then Srila Prabhupada asked, so are you chanting Hare Krishna on beats? The man said no. You know how to chant? The man said no. Prabhupada said, get one mala. So okay, Atmatattva got one mala. Prabhupada began chanting. He was showing him how to chant. And he began chanting. And Prabhupada chanted one entire round. And he gave the beats to him. And the man was old, he was diseased. And after a few days he left his body. Now Prabhupada did that for him. There could be so many other old people in Delhi. Why they never got that? Is there any answer? Is there any logic? That is the okay, anyways, so our time is almost up. Okay, we'll take one last question.
We were discussing modes. Modes will be, one mode will be pushing another mode different times. So as we discussed, this Vyudavikalpa, these all things, these are also changes to your, it's like just after one stage, second stage, in such a way, or it also...
See, it's not, it's a It's a general pattern that has been observed and the acharyas have put it. It's not that every stage is a must, it has to be there, it will follow the sequence, nothing like that.
And,
But it's a general pattern that has been observed, and so therefore,
and regarding the same thing with this 9 stages of bhakti,
yes, the 9 stages of bhakti are also. It's not that it's not that first of all sadhu sang gets completed, then anartha nivritti starts. No, sadhu sang is required how long? Always. Bhajan kriya? Always. Anartha nivritti? Always. So therefore, even though there are stages, because there is a major portion of the
Prominence.
yes, you can say prominent stage of that part of a sadhaka's life. So therefore, it's put over there. But then again, it's all overlapping and things continue on. But then initial stages are usually all overlapping. Later stages, of course, become more distinct. Ruchi, asakti, those become more distinct. But initial stages practically go on throughout. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Radha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Attendance.